Something very strange is happening at Apple Park. If you look at their release history, Apple operates like a clock. Every year a new iPhone. Every 18 months a new iPad. But then there is the Apple TV. The last time we saw a new box was in 2022. Since then, silence. Absolute total silence. We were told 2025 was the year. We were told the upgrades were ready. But 2025 came and went, and the shelf remained empty. Now, as we stare down the barrel of 2026, people are starting to ask the obvious question. Has Apple given up? Is the hobby finally dead? But if you look closer, if you look at the code, the supply chain leaks, and the massive shift happening in Silicon Valley, you realize that Apple hasn't given up. In fact, they have done the exact opposite. They delayed the Apple TV 4K not because they forgot about it, but because they are completely reinventing what it does. They aren't just building a streamer anymore. They are building a central nervous system for your home. And the reason for this 3-year gap is actually the most exciting news we have heard in a decade. It all comes down to one chip, one AI model, and one very aggressive price tag. Let's dive deep into the 2026 Apple TV 4K, and why this specific delay might be the best thing that ever happened to the living room. To understand the future, we have to look at the mess of the present. Why did the 2025 launch get scrapped? The answer is Apple Intelligence. Right now, Apple is in a race for its life. They need to get their AI running locally on device across every single product they sell. The current Apple TV 4K runs on the A15 Bionic. It's a great chip for Netflix, but for running large language models? It's a dinosaur. If Apple had released a new box in late 2025 with just a minor spec bump, it would have been obsolete the moment it hit the shelves because it wouldn't be able to run the new smarter Siri. And that is the core of the delay. Apple is holding back the hardware until the software is ready to change the game. We are waiting for tvOS 19 and the next iteration of iOS, likely arriving in spring 2026. This software update is rumored to bring the first version of Siri that actually understands context. We aren't talking about turn on the lights. We are talking about Siri, dim the lights, find that action movie Brad Pitt was in last year, and skip the intro. And the box actually doing it. To achieve that, Apple needed to wait for the Silicon to catch up to their ambition. This brings us to the heart of the beast. The specs. The 2026 Apple TV is going to be a monster. The leaks strongly suggest that Apple is skipping the A16 entirely and jumping straight to the A17 Pro or a variant of the A18. Why does this matter? It's not about loading YouTube faster. It's about the neural engine. The A17 Pro was the first chip built on the 3nm process, designed specifically to handle heavy AI workloads directly on the chip. By putting this tier of power into a stationary box that is plugged into a wall, meaning no battery life concerns, Apple can unleash the full potential of this chip. This allows for real-time 4K upscaling using AI, similar to what NVIDIA does with DLSS. It allows Siri to process your voice instantly without sending data to the cloud, and it ensures that the interface remains fluid for the next 5 to 7 years. This isn't just a spec bump. It's future-proofing on a massive scale. The hidden upgrade Wi-Fi 7 and the A19 chip. While everyone is obsessed with the processor, the real game changer is the connectivity. The 2026 Apple TV is rumored to be one of the first home devices to integrate Apple's custom A19 networking chip. This is huge. Currently, streaming devices struggle with latency. If you have ever tried to play a game via cloud streaming or stream a high bitrate 4K movie from a local server, you know the pain of buffering. The A19 chip unlocks Wi-Fi 7. This allows the Apple TV to communicate over the 2.4 GHz, 5 GHz, and 6 GHz bands simultaneously. Think of it like a highway. Current Wi-Fi is a 2-lane road that gets jammed during rush hour. Wi-Fi 7 is a 6-lane superhighway where the traffic never stops. This means instant load times, zero buffering, and a rock-solid connection for your smart home accessories. If you use HomePods for your TV audio, this new chip will virtually eliminate audio desync or dropouts. It's the invisible upgrade that makes the entire experience feel magical. Gaming the racing argument. Now we have to address the elephant in the room. Gaming. For years, Apple has tried to make fetch happen with Apple Arcade on the TV, and it has never really taken off. But the 2026 model has a secret weapon: hardware-accelerated ray tracing. The A19 Pro chip supports this natively. This brings realistic lighting, shadows, and reflections to mobile games. Does this mean you are going to throw away your Xbox? No. But it does mean that the Apple TV finally becomes a competent second console. With the rise of game porting toolkits, we are seeing titles like Resident Evil, Death Stranding, and Assassin's Creed running on iPhones. With the 2026 Apple TV, you can play those same console-quality games on your big screen with a PlayStation controller in 4K. Apple isn't trying to beat Sony. They are trying to capture the casual gamer who doesn't want to spend $500 on a console, but is happy to spend $10 on a game. It's a niche, but with this hardware, it's a niche they can finally dominate. The ecosystem, the home hub strategy. We need to zoom out. The Apple TV doesn't exist in a vacuum. The delay to 2026 coincides perfectly with the rumors of a new home hub, that iPad on a robotic arm device we keep hearing about. Apple is trying to unify its home strategy. The Apple TV 4K is designed to be the headless server for this new ecosystem. It will act as the supreme thread border router, connecting your smart locks, cameras, and lights. With the new Siri, you will be able to control your entire house through your TV screen with a level of intelligence we haven't seen before. Picture this: your doorbell rings, a video feed pops up on your TV, and Siri tells you who it is based on facial recognition, all processed locally on the Apple TV's A19 chip. That is the ecosystem play. They couldn't launch the box until the rest of the puzzle pieces were ready. The price shock, the $99 rumor, and finally, the most controversial rumor of them all: the price. Supply chain analyst Ming-Chi Kuo dropped a bombshell recently, suggesting Apple is targeting a sub-$100 price point. If this is true, it is aggressive. Currently, the Apple TV sits at a premium $129 to $149. At that price, it loses to the $50 Amazon Fire Stick every single day of the week. But if Apple drops the price to $99, they enter the volume market. They might make zero profit on the hardware. In fact, with an A19 Pro chip inside, they might even lose money on every box sold. So why would they do it? Services. Apple wants you subscribed to TV Plus, Arcade, and Fitness Plus. The box is just a gateway drug. By lowering the barrier to entry, they get high-powered silicon into millions of homes, securing their dominance for the next decade. It is a classic loss leader strategy, and for us consumers, it's a win-win. So where does that leave us? It leaves us waiting. And I know waiting is the hardest part. The silence from Apple in 2025 was frustrating. We all wanted that new black box. But when you look at what is coming, the A19 Pro power, the Wi-Fi 7 speed, the generative AI capabilities, and the potential for a lower price, the delay starts to look less like a mistake and more like a masterclass in product positioning. Apple is skipping the incremental update to give us a generational leap. They are building a device that isn't just about watching TV. It's about interacting with your home in a way that feels genuinely futuristic. The 2026 Apple TV 4K is going to be the smartest, fastest, and most capable device they have ever put in a living room. And if that means we have to wait a few more months to get the finished product instead of a half-baked prototype, then I say let them cook. If you like the video, subscribe, share the video, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss the update when this beast finally drops. I'll see you in the next one.